run the jungle, and if you don't know me, I'm an angry animal, and you know that I'm hungry. We got zebras, we got gorillas, and if you try to sell, then it's Thriller in Manila.
Greetings, everybody good? It's a Sunday, it's time for a Hangry update, and yeah, plenty to talk about. And I'm going to share a couple of slides from my screen so you can see where progress is. For those of you following me on Instagram and following the Hangry Instagram as well, then I've pushed some updates and just little teasers with sketches and illustrations that I've been working on. So you can see there's progression there across the board, really. So a couple of things to touch on. We have conversations running about the game and the games. So there's more than one game aspect to the Hangryverse and everything we're talking about. So I just want to touch on that. We'll talk about Hangry Genesis. So we're thinking of a slightly different strategy around mint passes, which all existing OGs will be airdrop the mint pass anyway. We're just waiting for Swappable to confirm what that looks like. Script read through. So I'm going to do a page, maybe 2 pages of the Otis script so that people get a little bit of a tease of what's to come. And as soon as I got it, it was like 6 a.m. in the morning. It was like a 22-page script about the origins of Otis and how he came to be. Yeah, loads of exciting stuff that you can't imagine until you see it down on paper and you're reading it. How our story is starting to evolve is super exciting. So I'll read a little bit of that in a moment. And then, yeah, just that general social ramp up. So it's coming to a point where there's likely to be a call to arms where we're going to need to start referencing the strategy and the content kind of strategy that myself and Bomber, and primarily Bomber, put together to start distributing that and start making those connections with other projects and outreach, social outreach. We've got to break through that barrier of the sort of the circle of influence we have, and we want to do that as organically as possible. So yeah, we'll touch on that in a bit. And then any other business. So let's kick off. Let's get hangry. Okay, so first thing first. There are a lot of metaverses out there. There are a lot of projects that are spinning up. Now's the time to build. Everybody's telling us that now is the time to build with everything so cheap. So we're in the throes of agreeing with a team of builders to do one of 2 things. Firstly, Sandbox. Sandbox may be our initial step into the world of metaverses, and we will get the 5 characters plus 1 other commissioned as playable characters within the sandbox. So getting a plot of land, you have your Hangry, and then within that we have our Hangry lair or Hangry den, and you will be able to play mini games within that experience. So that will branch out to other metaverses and other gaming platforms wherever we position them. So that initial build is the 5 characters getting fleshed out in that space, and alongside that, a fighting game. So we're going to start with challenge number 1 being train your Hangry. So challenge number 1 is a beat 'em up, a fighting game. So we're maybe 5-6 levels. Pick which Hangry you want to be, and you are challenged against some foes, some different alien species, potentially a member of the EDF-UF. It's almost like Guile from Street Fighter. So you'll be fighting against 5 to 6 different enemies with a chance to be on the leaderboard and get yourself up through the rankings on the scoreboard. So that's the idea. We're just about to write the brief and the full-on script for what that looks like. We've already obviously got 2 meshes for the characters fleshed out with our guys already. So we shall continue down that path of creating the OBJs, so the .obj files that we can use within Unity and hand over to the team to build out the fighting games. There's a lot of assets online. There's a lot of pre-built sort of game assets that we can leverage. So trying to make that as streamlined as possible. And the time estimate for putting something like that together is between 6 to 8 weeks to get something that's fully immersed, that will have blockchain aspects built into it. And we will continue down that path of trying to integrate the token aspect within that game. So that's the idea. And we'll give you an update as soon as we've started the ball rolling and we can share some visuals of the progress. You've obviously seen in the OG chat that I'd shared a little clip of Otis lip sync, mouth, eyes, ears, twitching, all the different, what we call morph targets. So you have 20 to 25 different head shapes that are expressions. So they are, you know, wide mouths, narrow mouths, O's, A's, smiles, ear twitches, blinks, half blinks, wide open, raised eyebrows. All of those things culminate in a default set of head shapes, and they called morph targets because the sort of script, the software in the script will transition between one morphed shape and another. So that's why they're called morph targets, because you have key amount of dots around the mouth, a key amount of dots on the eyebrows, and they move. So the target is the mesh nodes or the dots on the face, and that allows us to transition between one and the other. So there's loads going on there, but the gaming side of it we're super excited about because it's a lot of momentum. You know, we're really adamant that we want something to get our teeth into as soon as we roll out, as soon as we launch, and this thing will be that. So having Hangry to play around and walk around in the metaverse, and also a playable beat 'em up game that you can access from within inside that metaverse, and it just fires you out to that, you know, web-based experience to do so. May run a couple of competitions to start illustrating the backgrounds and different elements of the metaverse fighting game, and we're trying to tie in aspects of the story into that. You'll read about it when we explain a little bit of Otis's story. So I'll do my best to recite the narrator and Otis's script now in a minute. Next up, Hangry Genesis. So Hangry Genesis is something we've been thinking about, where, you know, we're toying with the idea that Chet is that airdropped NFT, but I think Chet is going to have some additional utility that we're not quite sure or want to release that yet, but it will be an OG airdrop with Chet no matter what. But before that, I think the Genesis piece is something that will give us some protection from a drop that we're not quite ready for, but it'll give us an indication as to what the appetite is to, you know, to mint your Hangry. So we're going to do a mint pass. All OGs and all existing investors will have a mint pass, and that allows you, as soon as we're ready to rock and Swappable can confirm that that mechanism is possible, then those with mint passes will be able to go and mint their NFT stroke NFTs when the time comes. So yeah, that's the plan. What that looks like, I haven't decided yet, but you know, it's going to be something quite visual, potentially a third species, a race, an alien race, or something that ties in with the universe quite nicely. For those that are very keen-eyed, there is an illustration of a tiger in the pencil sketches. That may or may not be the special special one we deploy as the Hangry Genesis. Obviously, Genesis means the original thing, the born, the origin piece. So yeah, it needs to be something special, and you know, I'm going hell for leather in terms of illustrating all the new stuff, and I'll show you one now where we've got screen share. Let's have a look. Screen share. Let's get our screen share in there so you can see Bryland's. Yeah, Bryland's quite chilled. He's got plenty of layers on him, and I've got skateboards, got lightsabers. So he's got a lightsaber with a hand. So this needs some work to get this right, but you know, essentially Bryland's rocking a lot of cool layers at the moment, and the ears and all the eyes, eyewear. Take the eyewear off. Some freaky layers. But yeah, I mean, having fun with him, and all, you know, props to Drop Bear Dad, who's doing some additional like graffiti layers that we're going to introduce into our background, so we can mess about with all of these pieces and different sort of vibe. Oh, unlock it. Whoa. So we've got some cool stuff going on. Yeah, imagine that as your PFP. Imagine that as your profile picture on Twitter. It's just, I'm glad we stalled. I'm glad we've taken the time to think about stuff, and bearing in mind we've got to wait this out. Whatever happens, I think I'm happier with giving us the time to tweak and tinker and make these things look super awesome. So anyway, that's some Hangry Bear, some Hangry Bryland Bear. Cool. All right, so I have a where's my PDF gone? I've got a PDF here. I'm going to show you on my screen. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm going to show you a little bit of this. Let me just think which bit I'm going to read out. Let's get to the juicy bit. Yes, this is a nice bit. Okay. Script. Okay, here we go. I'm going to read these 2 pages. We see the galaxy again, now 1,111 light years away. Yeah. The event that is about to change everything is underway. A space cargo ship is zooming across the stars. It has a small symbol of Earth and the word Strom on the side. It is being pursued and fired upon by 2 smaller ships. One is white and organic in shape. The other is a simple purple and angular. The Earth ship takes a big hit and trails plating, sparks and plasma as it tries to escape the pursuers, but it manages to hit light speed and disappears, leaving the smaller ships behind. Narrator: don't worry, they made it back to Earth in one piece. Well, mostly. External city zoo hippo habitat. Otis is up a ladder on a high wall. He's using a socket spanner to repair a metal rail. Below him, a group of hippopotamuses watch avidly. Otis says, I'm telling you fellas, you got it made down there. Plenty of space, plenty of food, your own pool. So what if this fence had a hole in it? You'd be crazy to leave. I'd switch places with any of you right now. Where do I sign up, man? I'm hungry. The hippos back away in fear as a shadow creeps over the compound. Otis is confused. Hey, come on, guys. I was just kidding. What? He turns around to see something very big and dark rumbling overhead. Oh, man, I'm not even supposed to be here today. Cut to black. Ooh. That is just the moment before we realize that the ship is, you know, hitting the zoo. But the way we've played it through in the script, in the storyboard, is that we cut away. So we're jumping in time. We're jumping back and forth in time. So yeah, lots of cool stuff in there. And today I met with Terry again to work through and talk about Sabrina's origin, which is slightly different. You know, we have a character who ex-military, potentially is, you know, special ops now, so attends the zoo, arrives at the zoo with a camera, and seemingly is a tourist, but deep down she isn't a tourist. She's hunting down some sinister activity. But in the same breath, we have the event. We have the large mass over the top of the zoo, and yeah, all hell breaks loose. But within the comics, we're sort of jumping around in time, so we don't see the event itself until the sixth, you know, special comic, the sixth one. Yes, we had a great chat, speaking over, you know, what are the motivations, what are the traits of a Hangry, how does an animal-human sort of DNA mix cope with that transition from human being, and has animal DNA embedded or imprinted on them from the existence and the closeness of the table. Yeah, it's just so much fun to play with. And by next week, we'll have Sabrina's script ready to rock as well. So in the process of storyboarding and illustrating the characters now, what we have is a foundation of plot, characters, personas, bringing them to life, really giving them energy and giving them life. You know, when it comes to a certain point, we will release the scripts in the OG channel. Just right now, I need them signed off and I want them approved before we start distributing stuff like that. It's yeah, there's some precious stuff in here, and some real gems of information that is being unraveled as we write these 5 origin stories. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and there's synergy between myself and Terry in terms of what we think, what are the examples of films, TV shows, and projects that we're trying to reference in terms of scenes. So, you know, with Sabrina, thinking about, because with Otis's story, he's a bit dumbfounded. He's like, well, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. But with Sabrina, we're going to explore that transition in real detail. So what happens, the table is affecting the DNA. It is basically molecules disrupting and changing. So we are going to illustrate, and we're going to describe the metamorphosis process of going from a, you know, fairly high ranked female military officer to a zebra with stripes, muscles, MMA, kickboxing kind of expert, munitions expert, with a real hint of hangriness. And we'd like to illustrate that and demonstrate that process in a bit more detail, because we haven't done so with the Otis one. So there's lots of stuff to explore, and that's where the fun is, where you're trying to thread story arc together, explain so much of a backstory that people get and believe and want to follow these characters. So that's important when it comes to a story that you want to follow, a story where you want to know what happens next. And truthfully, today Terry was like, I am writing this, we are writing the process, and I want to see this as a film. That's beautiful, where you have total investment from myself as an illustrator and as an ideas person. You have total investment to a script writer who is now working with the director of Dog Soldiers. I don't know whoever remembers that film, but Dog Soldiers was an awesome cult classic where soldiers are slowly overnight turning into werewolves, and you know, they get picked off one by one in this remote house in the middle of the woods. So that guy is an advocate for Terry's work, who's also writing his own film called Bloody Students, and he's written another film which is released called Off-World, sorry, and is, yeah, an avid script writer. He has one project that is about to be greenlit by the BBC, which I won't say anything until he's happy for us to share. But essentially, we're working with some really top-notch people, and you know, I am leveraging my network. I'm trying to bring as much value as possible to this project every week. You know, I understand there's been a hiatus and stuff is very slow, and we haven't launched yet. Blah blah blah. You know, what are we doing with the funds and stuff? And you know, truthfully, we are being as smart as we can with every penny. We're leveraging some of those opportunities in terms of the metaverse skins, the sandbox characters to build out, deciding where we're gonna pivot. So yeah, we're being very frugal with all of those pieces for the benefit of the project. You know, building a brand doesn't happen overnight. You know, we're trying to build a product and a project that gets famous. That's what defines a brand. So the more advocacy, the more outreach, and the more promotion that everybody within this channel, in the OG channel, can provide to us, the more value and more success we're going to have. So that's where we're at. And yeah, I just wanted to share that you know, I'm in this for the long haul. I ain't going anywhere. We're engaging with people in real world, in the real life, and you know, voiceovers, script artists, character artists, comic artists and illustrators to help me and help Coin shape the story of Hangry Animals for the betterment of all. So yeah, I am slowly but surely getting back to enjoying this process. You know, we had a real slump, and you know, truthfully, I'm a human being. I'm a man, and I felt a little bit downtrodden. I felt a bit deflated is the word, when you know, when we got to a point where ready to go, we're not ready to go, ready to go, we're not ready to go, and that continuous level of frustration and letting people down is just I try not to, but unfortunately these things happen and they get in the way, and sometimes people cave, and I think that did happen to us, where we just went, what do we do next, you know? You've got to pivot, you've got to move, and we've got to find a way to progress with this project, and that's what we're doing. So back to enjoying, because the journey is the thing that I'm super interested in. Potentially down the line, the destination is shit. So let's enjoy the journey, and that's what I'm here for. Cool. Finally, enough rambling. Socials. I've got control. I have access to the Hangry Animals Instagram account, not the Twitter account, but Instagram. I think Instagram is where we need to put a little bit more of our effort into it. Share, tag, like Hangry as much as possible. Mention it to social media, NFT promo channels as much as possible. Whether they share or not, I don't know at the moment. It's just a case of connecting with other projects, connecting with social channels that promote NFT projects and talk about NFT projects a lot. We want to start that reach out a bit more and signpost people over to Telegram, because Discord is closed down. You know, this is our OG. This is our closed community. This is, you need to win access to the Discord channel, and we're sticking to that. We're sticking to those rules. So in order for us to do that, the focus is to drive traffic to Telegram, keep the conversation going in Telegram. The more people we can get sharing our content and sharing the excitement around what we're building, then and only then will we give and reward people access to the Discord channel, give them a chat, give all the OGs a chat, and that's our frame of reference for how we grow this. Community is everything, and at the moment I think the community is very murmured and quiet and poised, and you know, I think appreciate Bomber, Dire Revolution, Derek, Manifesta. You guys are definitely just keeping that spirit alive, and I truly appreciate that. We wouldn't be in the position we are without that backing and that support. You know, get us out of that echo chamber and start to reach to some projects. Just have conversations. That's all I'm looking for, really, is for us all to start reaching out and having exciting conversations with other projects to say, oh, have you seen what we're doing with Hangry? There's a comic series, and we're building towards the ultimate goal, the North Star. Our North Star is a film, and we're sticking to that. We're doing a movie. So exciting as that is, it takes time. So the ramp and the build and the continual check-ins with the community will be the comics. It will be illustration competitions. It will be features on characters. It will be very short animation snippets and teasers to what we're doing as tests for the full-on 4D volumetric production. Those keen eyes will have seen the morph target stuff. I should be this week getting more of an indication as to where the full colored mesh version of the 4D volumetric lip syncing is. We may end up at the end of next week where we have a test where I voice it and I'm controlling the entire character from the UK in Australia. We'll see. So tune in and keep an eye out for that. This is a lot to talk about, crazy. Lastly, props to Derek giving us a connection with Cardinal House, who are a new community. They're growing quite rapidly, and it's a promoting healthy discussion and healthy debate, connecting projects with other projects, connecting projects with devs and all that. And Cardinal House looks like a really interesting place to be. And thank you, Derek. I've got a conversation running with Jojo B and the rest of the team in the coming days. So myself and Coin will jump on a call with them and talk about next steps, talk about how we can jump on a call and field a refreshed wave of AMAs. And Cardinal House will probably be the first AMA in a new wave of conversations we have to highlight everything that we're working on and getting excited about. So with all of that said, my mouth is dry. I'm ready for some tea. It's Sunday evening, and yeah, hope you have enjoyed this. Wish you all the best for the coming week, and yeah, stay hungry.
The message. We ain't hangry in the Great Depression. We them NFTs got the question. If you got the answer, then you know that we always pressing. Let me tell you real quick a little story about these NFTs.